Hi everybody, welcome to Virtual Pool 4 blog, also known as runout.tv. Get yourself subscribed, guys, before we start for some great content. I've really enjoyed playing on the Virtual Pool 4 platform, the online platform, over Christmas. And I've won a few tournaments, played a few good games, and it's been good. So get yourselves on there, check it out. The link's in the description below. So I want to start by placing the white on the line of the break, and I'm using, if you guys can see, I don't know whether you can see this, I'm going to zoom right in. Can you see the little mark on the cloth there? It's like a little line going from, let me just centralize it here, from basically where this donut is, going right down towards the break. I, as a general rule, just go near there if I can. It just sort of gives the break a little bit of consistency. Now, whether you guys know this or not, I've been told that the break is actually imperfect. Do you know that? Did you even know that? I didn't know that really. Let's just go right over the top now. I don't know whether you can see, but if we go right into the 9 and the 7, you can see that those balls are not touching. And if we work around to the 9 and the 6, they're not touching either. 9 and then that, they're not touching. Now the 9, none of them are actually touching. Now I'm not sure whether that is, no, are they touching? They're kind of a little bit more touching than some of them. So basically you have an imperfect rack. So if we just go over the top, and we can see that the gap between the 1 and the 7 and the 6, there's a gap there. Now I'm not even sure that we can take advantage of this in any way, but if we just look over the top, we can see that, if I'm going to guess, I'm not even sure if this is visual, so this might actually be totally wrong. We're going to have to hit across the side of the 1 to get any movement. Now let's just break off. We'll analyze the break. Now let's just see where the 1 ball went. We're going to track the 1 ball here. Now as you can see, it went across the table, basically to where the spot is. So if you were to do things properly, you would say if you cut across the ball a little bit more, if we get by undoing, if we went across the ball, it should go higher up. Now it actually doesn't. It actually goes straight across the table. Now let's just go across here, and we see that the ball actually breaks better when we went across it, but we lose the white and we lose the 1. Now this is an inaccurate rack, because if you break properly, that 1 ball should ping upwards. It does, but not enough. Now what can we learn about that? Well, I don't know. Let's go to the next rack and have a look and see if it looks any different. Okay guys, so it's rack number 2. So let's first of all go back to where we were. Go down and have a look at the rack. So as you can see, there are gaps all over the place. But let's have a look at the 9 and the 7. Now those are nearly touching, aren't they? So that's pretty good. Now let's have a look at the 9. Now obviously you can't do this at every break. The 2 and the 9 nearly touching. Let's have a look over here. Ooh, we're getting right in amongst the balls here. Let's have a go a bit out. We're getting stuck here, getting lost. Right, there we go. Whoop. Nearly touching. Nearly touching. We're looking for the biggest gap, really. Now that looks to me to be a fairly tightish rack. So we're going to get back into it, zone in. Now I've just been practicing the rack a little bit, and I found that if you break, I want this right down, if you break across basically to where the 9 is, you get quite a nice split on the balls, but you do lose control. Now in terms of a break, that's a break, and I'll be looking to clear up on. So this, I did think that if you break right into the 1 ball, you get a decent split, but not fantastic. Now, what I've seen, if you break into the straight into one as if you go from the top of the table, from the side, you get quite good splits as well. But by far the best split I found was the one that went straight into there. And obviously you've got to make adjustments to the white, otherwise you lose that one as well. Let's just get the white tip position right, because that's clearly not in the middle of the ball. So we're going to go for a bit of top. And look at that. That's a break that you could basically, you know, we're going to clear up very, very well a lot of the time. Now let's just have a quick, you know, just to prove that point to you, we're going to try and clear up. Just pressing the balls quickly. Whoops. You know, just trying our best to clear up as fast as we can. So the break is really everything in pool. When I break well, I clear up a lot of the time. Not every time. You know, I do miss some balls. People sometimes play me online and say, "Oh, you never miss Mal 255." And I say, well, to be fair, I've played a lot in real life as well. So yeah, I don't miss a lot. But yes, there you see the clear up. Now, so we'll set the white on that line. Do you see that little mark? If you've got the high def, and we get lined up. Okay, so then we go and have a look at the rack. And just have a look. The main balls you want to have a look at are the top balls. Now that's very open. We went back a bit. And that ball is shut. So I'm thinking the rack's going to split. And there's a big gap there. Not much gap between the 3 and the 9. Not much gap between the 9 and the 7. Decent sized gap between the 4 and the 9. And pretty close at the back. Well, decent gap between those two as well. So I'm thinking break across the other side actually. And you're breaking through the balls that have the not much split. So I'm expecting to see a split here that goes a lot to the left, not much to the right. And there you see we've got it, but it was a dry break. So let's just have a look and see what difference a cut break that way would make. Again, the ball's pinged around, but nothing went in. And what about that way? We did get one. So I'm not quite sure at the minute what I'm learning from this, but I think I've learned that if you just play a slow break, as you can see, those balls split well on the side where it was open, which is weird. So let's go through the other side, just on those little marks. I'm expecting this one not to move as well to the right, to go more to the left. See, it was dead. Dead on that side. So maybe as a test, wow, it just barely broke at all on that side. Interesting. So let's so really the break from that side's dead, but if you break from this side, you get a much better split through the gap. So let's just use that as a theory and go to the next rack and see if that works. So here we are, guys, racking up on our normal side, and let's have a look at the rack. I see a pretty significant gap between both the top balls. So really we're looking at where's the tightness after that. Probably that is basically touching, isn't it? In fact, it is. No, it's to all intents and purposes that's touching. And then moving further down, it's fairly solid, but it's very much solider going through the gap. So I would say this rack, I'm looking to hit through the 1, 8 and 5. So rather than that way as there's a gap, because there's a big gap between the top two balls, look. So that one's going to be, this is potentially a slug. So my theory here is that when I break from this side, it's going to split better than the other side. Let's have a look. So that was a decent split. Again, I'm not lifting my... now don't forget, this undoes to the same side, so we should get a worse split here if my theory holds true. And of course we get a decent split both sides. So I'm struggling to kind of see, maybe it's when it's tight. Okay guys, here we are. Let's have a butcher's at the rack. Whee. So we have a tight 1 ball to the 2 ball. We have tight right through it, to be honest. Now, if I'm right in thinking here, the way I look at this, this should break rather badly. But perhaps better through that way. So, using my crappy logic, I think we should get a better break from the other side than this side. Let's have a look. Now, actually, something I didn't think about was when they're racked tight, all three, when the 1, 2, 8, 5, and 6 are tight. Which ball went in there? Was it the 6? Yeah, it was the 6. Maybe that would happen when you rack it tight. Let's have a look. Let's have a go at the other side. Let's have a go from the middle, actually. Is that green still going? Not this time. Do get 1 in though. And now you see that green was heading in though. So if it's as tight this side, we should see the 3 go in. And that's it. We got a massive break there. Scratched unfortunately, but we'll just put it. As you can see, the 1 does ricochet, so we have to allow for that. And we get pretty much the same break. Quite interesting how that works. Let's just get loads more spin on the 1 so that doesn't happen. So we can replay that one. And the 6 goes in. And where was the 6? So that's 6, because it's tight in, that's just flying straight in. So perhaps that's a ball that you can kind of bank on a little bit. And if we look at where the 1's going, the 1 fairly predictably from those side breaks goes doubles across to the side. So you could, in theory, look at playing like a decent break. Now I'm just going to... Okay, back to a new break. So, straight down the middle. Let's have a look at it. Oh, no. Wrong button. Control V is what you want. Let's have a look at this. Right, so we are fairly tight. Not tight on the red and black, so it's not that side we're going to be looking to get. The 4 looks quite tight. And I reckon if we break, I'm going to bank on the 4 ball going straight into that pocket. Going straight into there. From that position. See if we've learned anything. See if it's consistent. I guess it just makes me feel like I'm breaking, a little bit on purpose. We're going to watch the enough. We're going to put a little bit of topspin on the ball. We're going to look to just stop the white because we're banking on the 1 going basically across here and back here for the pot in the top corner. So let's see what happens. Well, it didn't quite work. Let's see what happened to the 6 or the 4. And the 4 just basically went straight down. Now why is that? Let's have a look and see if there's a undo. Let's have a look at the 4 and see if there's any indication that that would have happened on the angle of the balls. No, there's no real, unless it's that gap there maybe. Close to the 9, but not that close to the 4. Close to the 2, but is it close to black? Kind of. I guess you can see that maybe. Yeah, it just goes straight down the table. So let's try it from the other side, see what difference that makes. And this time the 1 never moved. Because we hit that 1 perfectly full in the face. Let's just look at this one. I'm getting addicted now. Big gap between the 1 and the... looks like not much of a gap there. Not much of a gap. Now, if I had to guess, I would say the 6 is tight on the 5 and the 2 is tight. Everything looks fairly tight in this setup, so I think we'll get a good break with the 6 possibly going in. At least if I can identify those breaks, I can know where to hit them. 6 ball. No, we got the winger this time. Let's have a look at this one. So now that I know where the 1's going, yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. Retrospect, you don't get in pools, so who knows? But anyway, guys, thanks for watching.